It is an honor to be here today at the International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment, ISAE 2025. It's always a pleasure for me to return to the university community, and I see so many familiar faces here, colleagues who've been with us on many struggles, many battles. So it's a real joy to be able to be back here and spend a few moments at least with what has been for me a familiar space. I extend my warmest greetings to the organizers, the Faculty of Agriculture at the University of Ruhuna, and to all the researchers, students and professionals gathered here today to share knowledge and ideas. We are meeting at a time when agriculture stands at the front line of the climate crisis, both as a sector deeply affected by environmental changes and as a critical solution provider for sustainable development and food security. Erratic rainfall, prolonged droughts, floods and rising temperatures are impacting crop yields, soil fertility and livestock production. In Sri Lanka, these shifts are felt acutely in our agricultural heartlands, where smallholder farmers face the twin pressures of climate variability and economic vulnerability. It is important to recognize that climate change does not impact everyone equally. Women, particularly in rural and marginalized communities, bear a disproportionate burden. Many women in agriculture lack land ownership, access to credit, and decision-making authority. When climate-induced crop failures occur, their livelihoods, health, agency, and social security are severely threatened. This vulnerability is also driving female migration. According to UN Women, women's migration is increasingly shaped by the intersecting pressures of economic insecurity, climate change, and entrenched gender inequalities. The World Bank, the 2023 Migration and Development Overview, further notes that migration is a growing global trend with an estimated 184 million people living outside their countries of origin, nearly half of whom are women. These realities underscore the urgent need for policies that support women migrants while addressing the structural inequalities that force them to leave. These changes are not abstract. They affect food security, employment, and the resilience of entire communities. I would like to mention two striking examples that illustrate the urgent need for global cooperation in addressing climate change. Nepal, despite contributing only a fraction of global greenhouse gas emissions, less than 0.1%, faces severe impacts from rising temperatures, including accelerated melting of Himalayan glaciers, increased glacial lake outburst floods, and changing river flows that threaten agriculture, hydropower, and local communities. This highlights the disproportionate vulnerability of countries that contribute minimally to global emissions. Similarly, Vanuatu, a Pacific island nation, faces extreme challenges such as the relocation of villagers due to saltwater intrusion, contaminating freshwater supplies. In response, Vanuatu has sought an advisory opinion from the International Court of Justice to clarify the legal responsibilities of countries to prevent climate change, a move supported by over 130 nations to establish a legal precedent for climate accountability. Vanuatu has also been vocal in international forums, calling for global solidarity and emphasizing that actions must go beyond rhetoric, grounded in equity, historical responsibility, and the right to a clean and healthy ocean. These examples demonstrate that addressing climate change requires international cooperation, equitable climate finance, and innovative adaptation strategies. As part of these strategies, it is critically important to implement sustainable solutions, such as driving innovation in agriculture technologies for climate action and sustainability. Which is why this symposium, which I just learned is one of the oldest symposiums in the university system in Sri Lanka, is both timely and highly relevant. These real-world examples not only to enhance productivity and resilience, but also to mitigate the impacts of climate change on communities and ecosystems worldwide. According to Food and Agriculture Organization in 2023, digital agriculture technologies, including satellite mapping, drones, IoT, Internet of Things, soil and weather sensors, and AI-based crop monitoring systems enable farmers to make data-driven decisions on irrigation, fertilization, and pest management. I think as universities, we also need to understand and examine how these rapidly changing technologies and challenges that we are facing can translate into our curriculums and what we do with our students and our research projects, and how we contribute directly to the communities that are affected by these crises. These innovations have been shown to increase crop yields by 10 to 22%, while reducing water use by up to 30%, and minimize fertilizer and pesticide application, lowering both costs and environmental impacts. Furthermore, climate-smart agriculture is being increasingly adopted worldwide, with over 50 countries implementing practices designed to enhance productivity, build resilience, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Global investment in agricultural innovations reached $22.3 billion over the past 5 years, according to World Bank reports, including $3.6 billion specifically supporting climate resilience measures. These investments focus on digital platforms for farm management, precision irrigation systems, biofertilizers, renewable energy-powered machinery, and seed innovation for climate adaptation. As I mentioned earlier, when discussing climate change and its challenges, it is essential to recognize that no single country can address or survive these impacts alone. Global cooperation, shared knowledge, and joint action are critical to finding sustainable solutions, building resilience, and ensuring a secure future for all nations. Moreover, research and innovation must be inclusive and interdisciplinary, ensuring that technological solutions are socially equitable, environmentally sustainable, and economically viable. Sri Lanka is navigating a transformative period under the National People's Power government, which emphasizes transparency, equitable governance, and support for small-scale farmers. Agricultural policies under this administration prioritize sustainable farming practices, empowerment of rural communities, and investment in climate-resilient agriculture, while also focusing on digital and innovative technologies. This is a critical moment where policy, technology, and grassroots action must converge to ensure that agriculture supports both livelihoods and environmental sustainability. And we strongly believe that our universities play a fundamental role in bridging some of the knowledge gaps, but also in taking innovation to our communities. Our Minister of Agriculture has often complained to me that our faculties of agriculture produce graduates who don't remain in the agriculture sector. And this is true. When I walk into many government departments, I find agriculture graduates doing the most non-agricultural jobs possible. So here we are investing hugely in you because we need agriculture faculties to actually directly contribute to this very, very important sector, and this sector which is undergoing so much vulnerability and facing so many threats. The Young Graduates Forum, running alongside this symposium, is particularly inspiring. Our future depends on youth who are innovative, knowledgeable, and socially conscious. Investing in their education, skills, and leadership is investing in a climate-resilient future for Sri Lanka and Agriculture, as we all know, is not just about producing food. It is about sustaining our communities, our economy, and our planet. By embracing innovation, supporting vulnerable populations, and aligning policy with sustainability, we can transform the challenges posed by climate change into opportunities for growth and resilience. I urge all participants to share your knowledge, foster collaboration in the true spirit of university collegiality, and commit to solutions that are inclusive, equitable, and forward-looking. Let ISAE in 2025 be a platform not only for scientific exchange, but also for building the networks and partnerships that our future demands. Thank you, and I wish the symposium and all of you all success. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam, for your powerful address, and we kindly invite you to the stage to accept a token of appreciation for the invaluable perspective you brought to the ISAE 2025. I would like to invite Senior Professor P. Sri Lanka, the Vice Chancellor, University of Ruhuna, to present this token of appreciation to the Honorable Prime Minister. Thank you very much, Madam. Thank you, sir. True leaders don't just guide. They inspire, they uplift, and they breathe life into visions. His unwavering support and foresight have been indispensable in turning this ceremony to a reality. It is with great pleasure I now invite Senior Professor J.Y. Jayasinghe, the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna, to address the gathering.
Good morning, all. Distinguished chief guest, Honorable Dr. the Prime Minister of the Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, and Minister of Education, Higher Education, Vocational Education, and guest of honor, Mr. Ruhuna, Deputy CEO, Star Private Limited, and keynote speaker, Senior Professor Ruhuna, the Vice Chairman of the University Grand Commission, Professor Vasanth Kumar, and Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo, Senior Professor P. Jalanthi, and Member of Parliament, Honorable Professor Minister of Ruhuna, and respected foreign dignitaries, representing European Union, FAO, and our international partner universities, all national and international donors and sponsors, directors, chairpersons, and chief executive officers of national research institutes, all authors, eminent academics, executive officers, non-academic members of the universities, industry leaders, government officials, colleagues, and dear students. I am very warm welcome to all. And I'm really proud to be here as the Dean of the Faculty to grace this occasion. This is the inauguration of 15th International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment, that is ISAE. Since it is humble beginning, started in 2008, now we are in 2025, it is blossomed into a flagship international forum recognized as a space where science, innovation, and industry converge to shape the future of agriculture. So what began as a faculty effort now became a nationally celebrated and globally respected forum. So first of all, we are humbled and honored by the gracious presence of our chief guest, the Prime Minister, Dr. Harini. Madam, your leadership in education and development gives us great confidence to move forward. And moving forward, allow me to invoke the words of the great agricultural scientist, that is Nobel laureate Norman Bohler, that is the father of the Green Revolution. So he mentioned that you can't build a peaceful world on empty stomach and human misery. So these words remind us that agriculture is more than science, more than economics, and it is the foundation of peace, prosperity, and human dignity. So the theme of this year's symposium, that is driving innovations in agriculture, technologies for climate action and sustainability, could not be more timely. Agriculture is the heartbeat of Sri Lanka and it feeds the people, and that is fuels our economy and defines our cultural heritage as well. So it is also one of the most vulnerable sectors, as our Prime Minister mentioned, that is threatened by the floods, droughts, sanitary intrusion, and market volatility. And our Ruhuna will explain about how this climate change going to impact on that and decline in the biodiversity. And we must therefore redefine or reimagine the agriculture, which is not a victim, it is as not a victim of crisis, but as a driver of resilience, innovation, and global leadership. So at the national level, this symposium contributes directly to Sri Lanka's priorities of food security, climate resilience, rural empowerment, and green growth as well. At the global level, so we are talking about the global stewardship. So it aligns seamlessly with this Paris Agreement and the European Green Deal and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals as well. So in doing so, ISAE 2025 positions Sri Lanka not as a follower, but as a considerable global agricultural transformation. So as shown on University of Ruhuna, it carries the responsibility with pride. It established in 1978 and has known for comprehensive university with 10 vibrant faculties. So within the Faculty of Agriculture stands out as a pioneer, nurturing generations of scientists, policymakers, and innovators who have shaped Sri Lanka's agricultural journey. Our unique location with paddy fields, plantations, tropical agroecosystems, and experimental farms has made Ruhuna a living laboratory for agriculture. So not only our faculty, uniting with all these 7 other faculties in the Department of Agriculture and the right national research institutes to form a dynamic national network for agricultural innovation. Together we can bridge gaps between research, policies, practice, and collectively we can ensure that Sri Lanka's agriculture not left behind, but instead stands proudly at the frontiers of science and innovation. So our vision extends beyond borders. So with global partnerships across all continents that enrich our teaching and research and prepare globally employable graduates with the knowledge, skills, and values to thrive anywhere in the world. So universities of the 21st century must be entrepreneurial. So I'm talking this every time because we have conventional universities that teaching and the research. So now we have to move forward, as Prime Minister mentioned, that we can develop all these curricula, industry curricula, and bring this industry part into the universities. And Master Charles Darwin mentioned that it is not the strongest of the species that survive, no more the most intelligent, but the one most responsible to change. So today, in the era of AI or artificial intelligence, the agriculture 5.0, fifth generation, and where robotics, IoT, big data, machine learning, biotechnology, renewable energy, circular economy, specifically circular economy playing a major role right now. Those are redefining how food is grown, processed, and consumed. Agriculture will be shaped by technology, guided by intelligence, and sustained by environmental stewardship. The University of Ruhuna is ready to embrace this future as well. So ISAE 2025 demonstrates the spirit of innovation and partnership with more than 180 presenters and authors, with the presence of European Union, FAO, industry leaders, and international universities. This symposium is not only a forum for knowledge sharing, but powerful stage for collaboration. So it is proof that Sri Lanka can be the hub for agricultural innovation in Asia and beyond. So I express my deepest gratitude to symposium coordinators and the editorial committees or deans of 10 faculties, and I acknowledge the Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Person, and all these administration officers, and your collective efforts has made this university-wide achievement and a source of national pride. So we extend our heartfelt gratitude to all the sponsors whose generous contribution made ISAE possible. And ladies and gentlemen, ISAE in 2025 is not just an academic event, and that is a call to action. So as I mentioned, Albert Einstein once said, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. So let this symposium be remembered as the moment we reimagine agriculture, uniting science, bold ideas and global collaboration to build resilient, climate smart and prosperous societies. Wish you a great ISA 2025 and have a pleasant day. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring address. As this remarkable ceremony unfolds, it is now time we turn to another guiding presence. His insights and leadership continue to illuminate our path toward academic excellence and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have the honor of inviting Senior Professor P.A. Jananda, the Vice Chancellor, University of Ruhuna, to share his insights with the audience.
Good morning, everyone. As Vice Chancellor, it is my great privilege to address you all at the International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment, ISAE 2025, organized by the Faculty of Agriculture of our university, Institute of Ruhuna. I want to acknowledge the presence of our chief guest, who just left, Dr. Haramit Surya, Honorable Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, and our guest of honor, Mr. Indika Nwardana, Deputy Chairman, Extra PhD, and our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Martin, from the Institute of Peradeniya, together with all national and international keynote speakers, all participants, and my dear colleagues from the Institute of Ruhuna. Your presence makes this occasion a truly meaningful and fruitful one. I must actually acknowledge the presence of our competent authority, Professor Udayan Nayak, who served our university for 3 months, few months back, and our emeritus professors and Vice Chairman of the UGC, and our Professor Ruhuna and Professor David Pravan from our colleagues. And the theme of the ISAE 2025, driving innovations in agricultural technologies for climate action and sustainability, is both timely and vital. Around the globe, we are challenged with different environmental challenges such as climate change, biodiversity loss, soil degradation, and the disruption of food system. These challenges strike at very heart of human survival. Agriculture, which sustains life, nurtures civilizations, stands at the intersection of both the crisis as well as the solution. Agriculture isn't just about producing food. It forms the backbone of rural economies. As climate-related risks grow stronger, our methods of farming, breeding, and resource management must be also evolved. Innovation and technology are crucial in this shift. Tools like precision agriculture, biotechnology, artificial intelligence, and smart farming offer ways to minimize climate risk while increasing productivity and resource efficiency. By connecting scientific breakthroughs with practical applications, we can redesign agricultural systems that address today's urgent needs and protect future food security, livelihoods, and ecosystems. As a Vice Chancellor, I am proud to note that ISAE 2025 has attracted a tremendous academic response. It has received 180 submissions, and after careful review process, 98 papers from both national and international authors has been selected for today's symposium presentations. On top of that, we have 31 student presentations through the Young Graduates Forum and 20 presentations in 3 minutes industrial training competition. The Faculty of Agriculture today organizing this symposium. All this work actually done while doing all the other required activities, teaching activities, research activities related to this, and other administrative and community services. I take a moment for this, at this point. Actually, I mentioned this one to the Prime Minister. We all do this work under restricted resources. Specifically, when we consider our harder positions for our staff, for our carrying out our activities, day-to-day activities of teaching, specifically teaching is in a crisis situation. Here, I see that, as I mentioned, Professor Rehan Fernando, who is a pioneer person in research and innovations. These days, he's leading that sector. Now we are to carry out research activities, do find important things for our future development of the country and build up our knowledge for the benefit of future generations. That is actually a part of an academic. Personally, our academic card number of card questions approved for our universities, specifically our university Ruhuna, is not sufficient. I emphasize that with that kind of restrictions, the Faculty of Agriculture has come up with this work. Now, our Vice Chairman from UDC also here. I hope you all can understand not only teaching at the faculty, we have to do other activities like research activities and other community development activities and other administrative and social services. For that one, we need our staff number. We need sufficient staff number of staff members. I would like to emphasize that even though Prime Minister is not here, I hope that will be passed into her knowledge, as she knows what this is. she was talking about why we need to fill out the forms and all those ones when she was with us. I'm sure she's not forgetting that. Therefore, I would like the government authorities to think about the restrictions on recruitment of academic staff members specifically and other staff members for the universities, because this is not for just for a request just to fill out our card questions or get some more staff members for our faculties. That is for to address the current issues we are facing. Because we have been allocated a number of students, higher number of students than we can cater. According to that, there should be identified number of qualifications for each new program. For example, science and agriculture field, there should be one teacher for 10 students. Here we don't have that at the moment, but with the restricted number of qualifications already approved, presently we are in a crisis of filling vacancies when the person retired. When a professor retired, we can't even recruit temporary demonstrator. That's the situation. Anyway, I'm not talking about those ones further. I hope that Vice Chairman of the NDC is here and who is responsible for these funds. He can take the message. And also, Professor Ruhuna Fernandez here is looking at the research and innovation concepts and how to develop our research culture and how to develop our innovations and inventors, how to invest in inventors. If we as a country, we need to do research when we consider our universities should have sufficient, at least, the autonomy to fill out the vacancies. At least the vacancies arise from various reasons like BOPs and retirements or resignations. And just comment on that because with all these hardships, our faculty of agriculture has done a tremendous job of doing this symposium for this year 2025 as well. I'm confident that ISAE 2025 will serve as a vital platform for knowledge sharing, collaborative research, and capacity building. Before I conclude, I wish to commend the Faculty of Agriculture, Mr. Ruhuna, for his unwavering dedication to academic excellence and for his leadership in addressing pressing global challenges through education, research, and innovation. Finally, I extend my deepest appreciation to all participants, keynote speakers, industry partners, and collaborators who have made this event a possible one. I wish all of you a fruitful and inspiring symposium. Have a very good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your enlightening words. We now come to a moment of great significance and invaluable opportunity to gain insights from a distinguished leader who's been at the forefront of the agribusiness sector. It is a great privilege to introduce our guest of honor for the ISAE 2025, Mr. Indigo Gunawardana, the Deputy Chairman of AdStar PLC. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Indigo Gunawardana to address the gathering.
Senior Professor P. Jayanta, Chancellor Institute of Ruhuna, Senior Professor Marabe, English speaker from University of Pennsylvania, Professor Galle, Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, Minister of Ruhuna, Dr. Anshu Bandara, Secretary ISAE 2025, Dr. Avanti, Coordinator ISAE 2025, and Professor Santha Krishnaman UGC, Professor Elena Bekrama, Member of Parliament, Matra District, and all other distinguished academics, researchers, industry leaders, policymakers, members of the organizing committee, sponsors, esteemed delegates, and ladies and gentlemen. First of all, good morning to you all. Agriculture has always been a part of our civil education. Today, however, it stands at crossroads, facing the unprecedented of climate change, while also carrying the responsibility of feeding the growing population sustainably. This is why climate action and innovation are no longer optional, they are essential. When I see the climate action, the topic for sustainability, I think this is the need of the hour that we have to discuss. If you take daytime temperature has risen from 0.8 to 1% in Celsius degrees during last decade. And daylight temperature also in widening, placing additional space of drops, rise of even in human health. The predictable rainfall patterns we once depend on, the model of younger and March seasons are no longer reliable. That is the truth. Experiencing high intensity short duration rainfall and normal daytime temperatures are frequent experiences. Some of the farmers cannot understand this daytime temperature, nighttime temperature difference, and again the temperature rise, which leads the COP into additional level. Because of these changes, we have experienced reduced harvest, increased COP, overseas production, falling of farming incomes, impact of farmer health of economy, and more impact of health of the community because everything our prices are increasing, and the pandemics and the disease outbreaks which we have not observed in earlier days. How to mitigate these? This is where we have to talk about climate action. There are several ways that have been adapted by the people, like solar power irrigation systems, climate resilient seed varieties, biomedical packaging, renewable energy and technologies, and even digital advisory platforms powered by artificial intelligence. But we have, of course, then we have to talk about water retention material to reduce water footprint, which is most important during this era. And again, when it comes to fertilizer, we still use the first generation fertilizer in Sri Lanka. If you can go to slow release water fertilizer or intelligent release fertilizer, that will help again to reduce the damage to the environment and for more sustainable solutions for farming. These are not just technologies, they are lifestyle for farmers striving to adapt and thrive in a changing environment. That's why many of these products exist in global markets as a commercial or the industry leader. You can say the solutions are existing in the global markets, but bringing those solutions to Sri Lanka is a challenge. That is what we all have to talk today. One thing is the legislation framework of Sri Lanka and the regulatory barriers which always make tears to us to bring those solutions. Then the taxes and import duties, as well as lack of trained expertise in our country to use those solutions properly and adequately in appropriate manner. If we can correct these things, if we can give solutions or some policies that we can implement in our country with this, with ISAE 2025, that is what we have to do here. I heard that there are 180 presenters are there, and we wish if we can use at least one or two those research and innovative products after pilot scale trialing to be commercialized to address the climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, climate change is not waiting for us to act. Every degree of temperature rise, every tree lost, every shift of rainfall pattern reminds that the time is action for now. Let us work together to build agriculture sector that is not only more productive but also more sustainable and more resilient. If we safeguard agriculture, we are safeguarding not just our farmers but the entire community. Thank you. I wish all of you a fruitful day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring words, and we kindly invite you to the stage so we will express our appreciation for the invaluable contribution that you've shown towards the ISAE in 2025. I would like to invite Senior Professor Jivaja Singha, the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna, to present his token of appreciation to Mr. Indika Durmai. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived at a moment that many of us have been looking forward to. Now is the time for the most insightful session of the ISAE 2025, the keynote speech. I kindly invite Senior Professor Jivaja Singha, the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna, to introduce our honored keynote speaker for the ISAE 2025.
One of Sri Lanka's most eminent agricultural scientists and internationally respected voice on climate change, food security and sustainable agriculture. Professor Mahavi obtained his PhD in agriculture from the University of Galle and went on to earn his master's and doctoral degrees in agriculture from Hiroshima University in Japan. For more than 38 years, he has served as a dedicated academic at the University of Pennsylvania, where he currently holds the position of senior professor in the Department of Crop Science. In addition to his scholarship, Professor Mahavi has provided special academic leadership at the Veerathula University, and he has served as the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and the head of the Department of Crop Science, Director of the Agriculture Education Unit, Chairman of the Board of Study in Crop Science at the ISAE, and the Director of Operations Technical Secretary, that is OTS, under the World Bank Content Program. Through these roles, he has shaped agricultural education, research and institutional development at national level. His research and professional contributions span data science, invasive alien species management, climate change adaptation and food system resilience, areas at the very heart of today's agriculture and environmental challenges. He has published more than 150 scientific papers, authored landmark national and international reports, and served as editor or the editorial board member of native journals as well. His outstanding scholarship and service have been recognized globally in 2022 He received the Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Green Science Society, one of five honors in his field. At the national level, he has been the recipient of multiple presidential awards and National Research Council Merit Awards for the scientific publications. Beyond academia, Professor Marame has been a policy shaper and national leader. He was the lead consultant in devising Sri Lanka's National Climate Change Policy 2023, the chief author of the Climate Smart Agriculture Profile of Sri Lanka for the World Bank and the ISAE, and long-serving member of the Sri Lankan government delegation of the UN climate change negotiations. He has provided expert guidance to the World Bank, FAO, ADB, UNDP, UNDP, CAIT, and ICRAF on matters of agriculture, biodiversity, and climate resilience. He also served on government councils of Sri Lankan universities, chaired numerous national expert committees, and led regional research collaborations across Asia. His voice has been instrumental in science policy practice for sustainable agriculture food system. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in sincerely welcoming Professor Ruhuna, who will be delivering keynote address and share his knowledge and insights on the driving innovations in agricultural technologies for climate action and sustainability.
Thank you very much, Professor Hotel Jasinga. That was a heavy introduction to this program. Good morning, colleagues, members of the head table, led by the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, the guests of honor, though I cannot call them at the head table, they are already an audience, the chairperson and the secretary to the organizing committee, and my colleagues in the audience. Initially, I thought of mentioning a few names, but missing a single name means you are updating your list of enemies. So I just keep quiet in that case. I think I've already done enough in that case. Colleagues, I decided to select the same topic that your conference is shaping upon, because I thought it's a very timely and highly opportune event to talk about innovation with respect to agriculture, as well as climate action and sustainability. Things mingle together. That's the important part. You cannot take technology out separately, you cannot take climate action out separately, and you cannot forget sustainability at all without that. So my point is, I'm going to take you through a journey today, which I've shown to many people in the past, which I'll be doing in the foreseeable future as well, about this big evolution in agriculture. What is in store for us in the future, especially when we start talking about climate action. Of course, sustainability matters a lot. So here I go. Before I start showing the slide, it's customary. I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me here. When Professor Hotel Jasinga wrote to me and called me, asking me whether I'm willing to accept this offer, I accepted it with a delightful mindset, I must tell you, to address you all at this special occasion, especially of a subject that is very close to my heart. And that's exactly why I use this slide everywhere that I go. And I show this slide as one of the first few slides for my undergraduate students when they come to Faculty of Agriculture at University of Canada. Agriculture is full of technology. Whether they are accepted at the correct time, adopted it at the correct time, or late, it's full of technology. You simply cannot define agriculture nowadays saying that you plant a seed or rear an animal. That goes well beyond that. It's a gamut of activities that make sure the food system of a country survives. We were talking about food security a little while ago, but Prime Minister also coined that word, food security. It's a conceptual framework. People should never think that agriculture of a country can achieve food security. Please keep that in mind. Our wholehearted effort is to make sure the contribution of agriculture in achieving food security will be maximized to the best possible extent. International trade, lots of other activities will make sure food security of a country is achieved, or at least we will hear in action that. So that's the whole idea of the presentation described. Evolution in agriculture in terms of technology. This is how it goes. Starting from simple a tool to dig a hole and plant a seed, moving up to the term called sustainable agriculture that we are in right now. Colleagues, I'm a bit skeptical sometimes Professor Jasinger to speak about sustainable agriculture, because I always see sustainability is the most misused word in this planet Earth. People talk of sustainability without even meaning or knowing it in most of the cases. But let that term be there, because that's the key of all what we do. So without talking about sustainability, let me talk of achieving about sustainable agriculture, green technology. All these technologies and techniques Sri Lanka has adopted. Very unfortunately, Sri Lankans are late adopters. Every time when technology comes in, we look at it very skeptical. We have kicked out technologies in the past and brought them back in when other people started introducing them to us, unfortunately. But there's one technology, one group of technology we have embraced right now. That's precision agriculture. That's something that we have started embracing it quickly, faster than any other thing that we have started adopting in this field of agriculture in trying to achieve our goals. So I'll come to that point later, but that will be the focus to let you know what is in store for us in the future as well. This is how we have suffered from many things that are happening in the environment. With all the technologies that are available, genetics, nutrition, I think Mr. Ruhuna was talking about high-end products with respect to fertilizers, so genetics, nutrition, and crop protection. All these three things are work together in terms of production. Of course, post-harvest and marketing plays a massive role, but I'm not going to touch upon that. But just look at the production data for the last 10 years, starting from 2025 to 2024. There are two dips and two peaks, as you see. For the first time ever, and for the only 2 times ever that has been recorded up to now, Sri Lanka produced, in terms of paddy, which is our main staple, more than 5 million metric tons of paddy per year in 2020 and 2021. Look at the way that we have started achieving. Despite a dip which was created by climate change, we bounced back from 2.3 million metric tons to produce 5.1 million metric tons by 2020. That's because of genetics we have. That's because of nutrition. And that's because of crop protection. We combine things together. Got these technology packages working together and make sure Sri Lanka produce much more than we require to produce. And look at what happened in late 2021 and the end result in 2022. This is what climate change did to us. That is what policy change did to us. And from 5.14 million, 5.15 million metric tons of paddy, we dropped down to 3.3, and we are still struggling hard to achieve that cherished goal. So that's where climate change and policy changes will have to be taken into consideration together, not separately. People can play havoc, especially the decision makers. And if we just become followers, that will be the end of the game again for Sri Lankan agriculture. Climate change is happening beyond our limits. Of course, we are the contributors, but we can tackle that. We have seen, we have shown how best we can perform agriculture, even after a dramatic downfall in agriculture is there due to the climate impacts that we have experienced. That was the worst drought ever Sri Lanka experienced, starting from Galle season 2016, ending up in Galle season 2017. Sri Lanka imported 747,000 metric tons of rice to feed our people in the last 3 months of the year 2017. When it comes to 2022, we imported 783,000 metric tons of rice to feed our people once again for a period of 3.5 months. That's the havoc that policy change made. But our job today, topic today, is the climate change. Let's look at it once again very carefully. Colleagues, whether we like it or not, global temperature is increasing. It's a natural phenomenon as well. Anthropogenic activities have made sure the change in temperatures take place at an unprecedented rate that it was there in the usual scenario. We blame the greenhouse gases, but we have to worship the greenhouse gases. It's thanks to the greenhouse gases, the Earth's temperature is at a level that is more minimum that living beings can live or life can exist. Without GHGs, our Earth's temperature would have been minus 18 degrees Celsius to minus 88 degrees Celsius. So GHGs made sure planet is livable. Human beings made sure by releasing GHGs, greenhouse gases at an unprecedented rate, threatening the same world that the human beings create. And we are looking at future with respect to this. So look at what has happened in the recent past. Paris Agreement says by the end of 21st century, the increase in temperature, global temperature, compared to what was there before Industrial Revolution, will be kept below 2 degrees Celsius. So the understanding, the temperature increase. Our target, to keep that increase compared to what was there in 1850, for example, to less than 2 degrees Celsius. But developing countries did not agree to this in 2015 when the Paris Agreement was about to be into effect. Developing countries, including Sri Lanka, said, no, we have to try hard to make sure this increase should be kept below 1.5 degrees Celsius. So the developing world and the whole countries agreed and finally decided to say that in the Paris Agreement, every effort will be made to make sure the increasing temperature will be kept below 1.5 degrees Celsius. 2024, our dream shattered. That was the very first time in the history of the world the temperature went beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius as you see. The highest temperature that we experienced was in 2023 before 2024. This does not mean, colleagues, that we are failing in our exercise, because the Paris Agreement says the average temperature of 100 years in the 21st century should be below 2 degrees Celsius. So we still have time, still have 75 years to correct course, and to make sure we will be back on track, and to make sure the earth will be made livable for the future generations as well. And that's our effort. Our effort is not to stop climate change happening. Our effort is to reduce the rate at which climate change is happening to the best possible extent. You cannot make it zero. When we breathe out air, it's carbon dioxide. When the plants breathe out air, it's carbon dioxide. Every time a ruminant regurgitates, it's methane. When we add organic matter, make water impounded in a paddy field, start plowing and pumping it, it's methane. All those are natural processes which we cannot stop. So they take place, but we have started giving a push beyond which that it was happening at the normal level and the normal rate. Look at the second highest was in 2023, and the third highest temperature warming was in 2016. But strikingly, please do keep in mind the 10 hottest years ever recorded has been recorded within the 25 years that we have already completed in the 21st century. So climate change is real. There are no ifs, no buts, it's happening. So let's try to see how to minimize the rate, and also to see how best we get adapted to the system, so that we will also live in a changing scenario. And that's our target. That's where technology becomes important. That's where agriculture becomes important, because it's the start of food security, though it's not the only thing with respect to food security. So let's try to see how we are going to achieve these targets. Technology is the key, as I told you. This is the first Ford tractor introduced to Sri Lanka by Bauer and Company in 1990 to do the agriculture-related work in their Padma Salavukuri facility. People rejected this. They didn't want this to take place in this country. They said, we do not want mechanization. We do not want machinery in agriculture, because there's enough labor, human labor, to look after interests. The first Ford tractor that was brought into Sri Lanka 106 years ago went out of the sea, thanks to our people. Not because of the private sector, not because of the British government that was there. They wanted this technology to be in, but people said no. Then came 1952, the first ever Massey Ferguson 4-wheel tractor called Grey Fergie was brought in by Brown's company at that time. ISAE is under Brown's as far as I understand right now. So this is the tractor that was brought in 1952-53 at the time that there was a hardtop in Sri Lanka, the first ever hardtop. People said no to that. People did not want this tractor. People said yaka is not needed in our life. Let us look after our own agriculture. Unfortunately, we picked up the first Nasi Ferguson tractor brought into Sri Lanka as well. Ford went out, Nasi Ferguson went out. Brought in by two companies supported by British as well as Ceylonese government that were there at that particular time. And I'm sure I can just understand the line of thinking that was there in this person's mind. Late Dr. Ray Vijayawardhan, who was trying to design the two-wheel tractor that can be used in agriculture. He saw what's happening with Nasi Ferguson. The design was made, the primary structure was made with respect to the two-wheel tractor. But finally, he decided to sell it to the Landmaster company in UK in order to do commercial production of the very tractor that he designed in Sri Lanka by looking at what's happening with respect to draft animals and looking at the need for replacing human beings and making their use for a better use, for example, in terms of development and machinery to be replaced. It didn't work again. Landmaster company sold back the same two-wheel tractor to Sri Lanka in 1964. He said no to that as well. Yeah, quite a very good people on that in that case, rejecting technologies. Believe me, it's the first mechanized rice harvester that was brought by, again, by Bawa and Company in 1968. Not a combined harvester. It's a mechanized harvester that was brought in. And Sri Lankan people said no to this technology as well. But when it came to late 1990s, interesting things started happening. We saw in many cases, people would love to see this type of pictures in the scenario. People started romanticizing agriculture, saying that we want to see this happen. People, if it's agro-tourism, I do understand. But is it for reality in terms of production? Yeah, it is an issue that we have to think of. But people thought otherwise. Farming community who rejected the ideas of bringing in machinery earlier have started changing their line of thinking. And these particular structures have now started changing at least to two-wheel tractors since the late 1990s. So the front end of tractor production is mechanized right now in most of the cases. Not only the front end, in 1990s we also saw a revolution in the tail end of paddy production. Why I'm bringing in paddy, for example, is our main staple. And towards the latter part, in the case of 1990s, the combined harvesters came into action. It was first Yanma, I think it's brought by Brown's and Company, then came Kubota, it was brought by Ladies, and then CIC came forward to commercialize the combined harvesters for the very first time in late 1990s. This was the revolution. The revolution has taken place in the world centuries ago, but we at least started it happening in this country since late 1990s by having a combined harvester. People call it Bhutia because it was so new. A machine moves in, powers paddy, and here comes a gunny bag or a bag of paddy at the end as a harvest without knowing what is happening within the machine. And that's how the Bhutia name came into effect. But still, this Bhutia is working very well in all our conditions right now, in all agro ecosystems supporting agricultural development of the country. We have moved further thereafter, etc. Climate change in environmental temperatures and rainfall have affected continuous cultivation in this country for most of the crop. People found technologies, we imported technologies, that's fine. Good things can be imported, good things can be copied, and make sure countries' development will take place accordingly. So we had started coming up with new technologies now. After the booster dose that we had with mechanization with respect to paddy farming, here comes the production aspects giving continuous production in this country. We moved further. We were not only worried about production, we were worried about storage. I'm sorry, your company's name is there, but I could not help in taking that photograph. These silos help people to store excess grains and to make sure those grains are being used at a time where there are shortages. People invested on these things and to make sure silos are produced to store grains. And this is the technology that should have been expanded horizontally at least. But very unfortunately, whenever time we speak of paddy storing in this country, we are looking at houses which are called warehouses, which should have been given to university students rather than storing paddy. We should have given up silos. We should have made this technology being introduced rather than wasting our time and losing our product in normal warehouses where the temperature control, RH control is not there, not properly done. So these are the technologies that we require for future. It's not to say every house to have a silo. It's a commercial operation that we need these silos in terms of storing material. Few years ago, whenever time a drone was taken into an agricultural field, this is how what was seen. People rally around this drone and try to see an equipment start flying like a kite, nothing else. People running around to see what it is and what the job that is going to do into our agriculture. And that simple start has made sure we have a company now in Sri Lanka that has the highest drone fleet in South Asia. One single company having the highest drone fleet in South Asia. That's Work International. We have this drone fleet, all the latest drones that are there being used in agriculture effectively for a fee. People are asking for this technology. And we will try to go ahead and do spraying using drones. This is something that definitely adds value to our efforts in climate action. But just when you use this technology, usually the normal recommendations we say for 1 acre of paddy, let me use the acre rather than using a centimeter. 1 acre of paddy. If you are trying to spray using a 16-liter knapsack sprayer, you have to at least apply 10 16-liter knapsack sprayers per acre. That means 160 liters of water. This machine do the job with 20 liters of water. So in terms of climate change, we are saving 140 liters of water at every spray with respect to acre of paddy at least. Is something, the technology that we require. We have now done a lot of research, recommendations are in, and Department of Agriculture is now in the move of releasing the second upgraded guidelines for the drone use in agriculture. That's a good thing that has happened. Remember what I mentioned about combine harvesters? Still at the time that I'm speaking to you now, there is no recommendation to use combine harvesters in any crop production system. We still do not know at what speed the combine harvester should move. What is the best harvesting stage of a given paddy variety for a combine harvester to be used? And the loss that will take place because of the jerk the combine harvester creates in when we need that information, and agriculture department right now into it, even at a later stage to see how best we can give that information to the private sector so that they can definitely start using it effectively in the future. Now this is about pesticide spray. Fertilizer spray, it is foliar, take place in the same manner. Recommendations are there. We are now moving on to a situation to broadcast seed paddy using the same drone with a different setting. Last year, Professor Abhidhamma, you must be knowing that 64 agrarian service centers employ trained drone pilots to provide drone services for farming community in this country. It's going to be expanded because people are demanding, asking for it. Now comes paddy broadcasting. Uniformity in paddy broadcasting has been maintained now with drones. So we are trying to use this technology with the assistance of Department of Agriculture. They are the people who should carry forward it. And the Sri Lanka Institute of Agriculture is supporting the Department of Agriculture in conducting research and also in farmer training to make sure drone will move forward, not just finding and dropping something, but doing it scientifically, making sure the broadcasting takes place uniformly, with proper calibration, make sure pesticide spraying takes place uniformly, at the given rate with proper calibration. That's what we require to minimize the damages on the ground. And the technology is there, technology is being used effectively. Fire dust. Not a technology from Sri Lanka, imported technology from USA. Fire dust is ours, And we have made this structure right now. We are not using it, but Maldives started growing crops on the seawater using the structures that we have developed in this country. Now, don't try to propose we have to do this in country right now. We have enough things to do before we start reaching this particular point. But the techniques, technologies are there, and there are enough opportunities for people to come and upgrade it vertically in the future so that the production and productivity aspects can take place effectively. So the point is that the technology is there, the base material for technology is also there, and we have been combining both together to make sure technology being exported to other countries as well, based on our own products. That's an important point, and that will be the future for most of the ag technologies right now. Colleagues, I just thought of showing this photograph to you. Remember what I told you? We have missed the bus in several cases. Missed the Ford tractor brought in 1990. Missed the Massey Ferguson Graver brought in 1952-53. Missed our own two-wheel tractor. And missed the first mechanical harvester. More importantly, in 2013, the first ever nano-urea product made by Sri Lanka Institute of Nanotechnology was sold to Nagarjuna company in India because there were no takers in it. We had a fertilizer subsidy. We sold that technology for $323 million to Nagarjuna company in India. Product never came up. So that patent right was sold and it was sent to backbenchers. Technology is gone from the system, for example, at least starting from 2013 for 20 years ahead. And that's how the world works. That's how these technologies work. Technology is a business, and climate action itself is a massive business. So when it comes to technology, please make sure you use the correct technology. We learn from it what is there on the screen, and make sure we use appropriate technologies using the same. Make them appropriate enough to be used in our country for the future. That's R&D innovation gap, controversy that done. Up to now, I showed you a lot of photographs, but let me put everything in text right now for the next few slides to show you what level of R&D gap is there. If at all, you have to move forward in those things. It's very clear. Looking at the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, if we are to look at only eliminating hunger, SDG 2, the research gap is about $4 billion per year. And if you want to look at climate smart technical innovation separately, it's about $6.5 billion a year. That is the amount of money that is required. Sri Lanka cannot afford this covering, but it's a global situation that I'm talking about. So it's already that $10.5 billion investments is required in order to make sure climate smart technologies will start solving problems of hunger. SDG 13 and SDG 2. That's where things are moving towards. Look at how IFPRI pointed out, saying that it's about $15.2 billion that we require as an annual investment gap. Not only R&D gap, annual investment gap to make sure that innovation is carried out in the whole world. Massive task, it's a massive amount of money that is required. But it's not to create a fear among people's mind. We can do our piece of work. Not to look at these figures, but you understand what is happening at the global scale. But still, it's important for us to see how countries moving ahead towards this line. From 2010 to 2019, this is how China has invested, India, Brazil, and the rest of the global south has invested with respect to annual funding for climate smart agriculture. Sri Lanka also made an innovation. In 2025 July, we have submitted the final document of climate smart agriculture investment plan until 2030. We have done that. Scientists have worked towards it. Our perspective, lots of plan. Many stakeholder consultations they keep to check. And the FAO came in to help and say there are 8 investment packages that we are proposing, Sri Lanka is proposing, at a cost of $1.018 billion up to 2030. More importantly, rice alone, to have a climate resilient paddy production alone, we need about $165 billion. If you go into climate resilient plantation and small crops, we need $242 billion. not to be raised from our own funds. Look for other funding sources. That's an important point. Access them, explore them. That is what we are pushing. That is why we are doing right now to make sure the prospective investors push towards this end to access money from the international fund, because the documentation has been done. So make use of it right now in order to make sure you achieve these targets. It's an interesting database that I'm going to bring to you at this stage. A figure to show you how the estimated annual innovation of funding in billion US dollars was there from 2010 to 2019 in the global scenario, to show you how investments have taken place. Look at the areas that people have touched upon. Agricultural marketplaces has the highest investment, $796 billion globally. Seed development, farming equipment, AI analytics-based algorithms, and irrigation systems. India has spent $49 billion only on irrigation systems for the past 8 years. Waste management, fertilizers and manure. Sri Lanka, you were focusing on that. Look at India alone, $27 billion US dollars. China, look big, look high investments, but a very minute proportion in this particular area. And look at our neighbors, supply chain and other activities. So this is the way, this is the line of thinking that people have for future. This is what it is for us. And the future is not going to be big. Future is difficult, but we have to accept that challenge. It's not easy, it's not a rosy path, but let's accept this challenge and make sure, while understanding there is recovery underway. Sri Lankan economy, for example, we are stabilized. We will recover soon. So stabilization, recovery and growth, those are the three phases that we have to come forward to make sure countries' development take place. So let's have that hope and make sure go for mature, scalable, and proven technology, not immature, not research or technologies that require a little bit of additional work to commercialize, not those technologies. Technologies that can be readily used. That's what is required. That's what we need from people, especially from younger generation is coming, younger generation. When there are large financial gaps, this will continue to remain. This will continue to remain. We have to look for it. We have to accept that fact and move forward. Try to access funding from other sources. There are strategic finance models. Very recently, the Treasury developed the first ever private financing strategy for Sri Lanka. And all state departments officers, if you are here, every time when you propose a budget line to 2025-2026 budget, next year's budget, you have to say that proposal, is it looking at climate adaptation, is it looking at climate mitigation, or is it looking at climate-induced loss and damage? So climate tagging has already started in Sri Lanka, something that we were asking for every time continuously. From this year, it has started a good move by the Ministry of Finance and the Treasury. And there are market growth prospects. There are strongest in the global market about vertical farming and more importantly, elsewhere in precision economics. Colleagues, to wind up, 2 more slides to go. Remember what I told you at the beginning? We are late adopters. Our farming community took such a long period of time to change their mindset, to go into machinery, to use modernized agricultural techniques, precise agricultural techniques to improve productivity. If I ask you to draw, without showing this photograph, a farmer in Sri Lanka, you will definitely draw something similar to what you see. Because without the amulet, we don't have a farm in this country. If you ask a small kid to draw a farmer, without the amulet, there's no farm. Nobody thought a farmer should look like this. I borrowed these photographs from ISAE agribusinesses. Nobody wanted to see a farmer like this. This guy is not a farmer, for example, for many people. And more importantly, people also romanticize agriculture and wanted to see this happening everywhere in this country. For people to come and see. Good, people can come and see. But the important point is to make sure agriculture prospers. So I once again borrowed a photograph from ISAE agribusinesses. Same thing. How about like this? Change in line of thinking. So this, the way forward is not by dressing up, but change in line of thinking to make sure changes are made for the cause. And that's the important part. President Gupta, thank you very much for calling me in. Technology is there. Technological development is in store for us capacity building, finances and technologies together will work out our future. We'll work a better future, not only for you and me, but for future generations as well, and we're changing time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your invaluable words. They were truly inspiring, yet powerful at the same time. And we warmly invite you once again to the stage. Senior Professor Ruhuna, we warmly invite you to the stage as we present a small token of appreciation for the invaluable perspective you brought towards the ISAE 2025. To kindly present this token of appreciation, please welcome Dr. Avanti Mahanavan, the coordinator of the ISAE 2025. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, madam. Ladies and gentlemen, please get ready for one of the most exciting highlights of today's proceedings, the official launch of the e-proceedings of the ISAE 2025. This marks a milestone in sharing knowledge and innovation. It is with great pleasure I now invite Professor Deepthi Lakshmi, Editor-in-Chief of the ISAE 2025, to officially launch the proceedings. Professor Lakshmi, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests, colleagues, and all participants of the ISAE 2025. I am honored to be here as the editor-in-chief of the proceedings of ISAE 2025. Over the years, as we all know, that the ISAE 2025 has served as an important platform for academics, research, policymakers, and also industry professionals to share their ideas and also collaborate in agriculture and environmental sciences. So, one of the key outcomes of any symposium is the knowledge that we share and also preserve for the future. So, the e-proceedings of ISAE 2025 document the wide range of research presented here today and also make it accessible to a larger audience around the world. So this digital publication shows our dedication to advancing science, promoting innovations, and ensuring sustainability in agriculture and environment. So at this moment, I sincerely appreciate the editorial team, reviewers, technical staff, and all contributors of their hard work in bringing this audio to me. Above all, I thank the authors whose research enriches this symposium. So with these words, I am pleased to invite Professor P.A. Jayanta, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, to officially launch the ISAE proceedings. And also, I invite Dr. Anusha Pandara to facilitate. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Anusha. So at the same time, I encourage all of you to explore, engage, and be inspired the knowledge within. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. It is now time to recognize excellence in research, the heart of academic invention and innovation in progress. The Research Publication Awards 2025 celebrate the outstanding scholarly contributions made by the academic staff members of the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna. These awards are presented for research articles published in journals indexed in the Science Citation Index Expanded and Social Sciences Citation Index SSCI during the year 2023. May I now invite Senior Professor P.A. Chananda, the Vice Chancellor, University of Ruhuna, to present the prestigious Research Publication Awards 2025 to the most outstanding scholars. This year, we have 14 distinguished awardees who have shown exceptional excellence in their research. We will be starting with Senior Professor Visnamratnasekara. Followed by Professor A.L. Ranmakar, Dr. Amani Marnakara, Dr. Chandima Kachmira, Dr. Nirupana Handalage, Dr. Jisumali N. Fernando, Dr. Tharaka Kusumindan, Dr. H.A.P.H. Shravani, Dr. N.V.T. Chayapala, Thank you very much, sir. We also extend our kind congratulations to the following awardees who are not able to join with us today. Senior Professor D.A.L. Nilamani, Professor S.B. Kiranage, Ms. W.T.V. Tapsarani, followed by Ms. H.T.M. Pereira. Let us warmly congratulate to all the awardees once again for exceptional achievements. An event of this significance would not be possible without the generous support of our collaborators and sponsors. Their invaluable contributions have been instrumental in making today's ceremony a reality. It is now my honor to invite Senior Professor Vasant Kumara, the Vice Chairman, Linguistic Grants Commission of Sri Lanka, to present the tokens of appreciation to our valued collaborator and sponsors in recognition of their exceptional contribution towards the ISAE 2025. We kindly invite one representative representing the collaborator and the sponsors of the ISAE 2025. May I have the pleasure of inviting the collaborator of the ISAE 2025, the Food and Agriculture Organization. Followed by the platinum sponsors for the ISAE 2025, JJNT Building Surveyor. Followed by the other platinum sponsor for the ISAE 2025, CIC Agriculture. The gold sponsor for the ISAE 2025, National Science Foundation, Sri Lanka. The silver sponsors for the ISAE 2025, NR Agribusiness Private Limited. Followed by the upper silver sponsor for the ISAE, Dialogue Coordinator. The standard sponsors for the ISAE 2025, Salahadda Group of Companies. Followed by CBL Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Followed by John Piper International Private Limited. Van Ostilon. Commercial Bank, Harshanga Mills, followed by Agriculture Division, Air Power and Company Private Limited, International Private Limited, People's Bank, followed by Dual Chelate Fertilizer, followed by Padmasam Family Trust. Also, we kindly invite the official event management company representing the official event management company TKM Events to receive the token of appreciation. The success of this symposium would have not been possible without the unwavering dedication of many individuals. Behind every single movement today lies the countless hours of efforts and dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, as we draw this special occasion to a close, it is my sincere pleasure to invite Dr. Anushka Bandara, the Secretary of the International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's both a profound honor and a privilege to stand before you today and deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing committee of the 15th International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment 2025, organized by the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna. The symposium is a flagship academic event of our faculty, and its success would not have been possible without the collective contributions of many distinguished individuals, institutions, industries, and partners, both local and international. First and foremost, I wish to extend our deepest and most heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Harini Ammasuriya. Madam, your presence here today is not only ceremonial but also a powerful symbol of our unwavering commitment to higher education, agriculture, rural empowerment, and sustainability. Your leadership reminds us that agriculture is more than an economic sector. It is the backbone of our society, our livelihoods, and our resilience in the face of climate change. By placing this symposium, you have brought immense prestige, significance, and inspiration to ISAE 2025. Our sincere appreciation also goes to our guest of honor, Mr. Indika Gunawardena, Deputy Chairman of Agstar PLC. Sir, your presence reflects the vital role of industry in shaping the future of agriculture. The private sector not only provides resources and innovations, but also vision, networks, and market opportunities, enabling academic research to translate into practice. We deeply value Agstar's leadership as an exemplary model of how industry partnerships can drive sustainable and inclusive agricultural growth. I am equally privileged to extend our gratitude to our distinguished keynote speaker, Senior Professor Buddhi Marave of the University of Peradeniya. Professor, your keynote address was thought-provoking and fundamental to the dialogue of this symposium. It reflected the decades of scholarship, vision, and leadership, and it has set the intellectual tone for ISAE 2025. Your insight will continue to inspire researchers, policymakers, and practitioners alike. We all know our sincere thanks to Senior Professor B. Janza, Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, for his continuous engagement and guidance. So your leadership has elevated the University of Ruhuna as a center of excellence in higher education, and your support have been invaluable in making this symposium a reality. In the same spirit, we extend our deepest gratitude to Senior Professor D.Y. Jayasinghe, Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture, whose vision, commitment, and tireless dedication have been instrumental in the success of ISAE 2025. Your leadership within the faculty has inspired our staff and students to rise to this occasion with pride. I also wish to acknowledge with respect the deans of all faculties of University of Ruhuna who are present with us today. Your solidarity reflects the strength of our academic community and the interdisciplinary spirit need to face the grand challenges of our time. Our appreciation also extends to the Registrar, Bursa, Senior Assistant Bursa, and the Assistant Registrar of Faculty of Agriculture, whose administrative guidance have been invaluable. Though their contributions often take place behind the scenes, they form the backbone of this institution's success. We also thank the Director of ICT, Director of Sintan, Director of CQA, and whose support have ensured that the technological and research needs of the symposium are seamlessly met. We are equally grateful to our national institutions and to the Vice Chairman of the University Grant Commission, the Director General of Department of Agriculture, the Director General of National Science Foundation, the Chairperson and CEO of National Research Council, Chairperson of Sri Lanka Council for Agricultural Research Policy, and Chairperson of National Science and Technological Commission. We extend our warmest thanks for your efforts in fostering a culture of research, innovations, and national development. The symposium have been further enriched by strong international collaboration. We are especially grateful to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, Mr. Vimalendra Sharan, FOA representative for Sri Lanka and the Maldives, Mr. Nari Singh, Assistant FOA representative, Ms. Camelia Adriana, and the circular team, our partners from the European Union, and our academic collaborators from Thailand, Japan, Philippines, Sweden, Estonia, Lithuania, and other EU member states. Your knowledge, presence, and network reminds us that agriculture research and sustainability are global imperatives, and only through such partnerships can we address the pressing challenges of food security, climate resilience, and sustainable development. We also warmly acknowledge the contribution of our alumni worldwide, whose continued engagement strengthens the global presence of our faculty. We extend our heartfelt thanks to our industry partners and sponsors, whose generosity has been vital to success of ISAE 2025. Our platinum sponsors, Mr. Janaka Ramke, CEO, and the team of JJNT Breeding Surveyors, Melbourne, Australia. Mr. Varuna Madhavanagarchi, Managing Director, Agriculture, and the team of CIC Holdings PLC and Unipower have not only provided financial support, but also placed their trust in the mission of the symposium. We are also grateful to our board sponsor, the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka, for their steadfast support in fostering innovation, and to our silver sponsors, NR Agribusiness and Dialogue Axiata PLC, for their generous contributions. Finally, we acknowledge our standard sponsors, distinguished individuals, and well-wishers whose support, though less visible, has been invaluable. Collectively, these contributions symbolize the strong bond between academia, industry, and society. Our academic community has been the intellectual force behind this symposium. To our plenary speakers, session chairs, conveners, evaluators, presenters, and authors. Your expertise and research have given ISAE 2025 its substance and value. Without your contributions, our deliberation would not have been possible. Behind every successive lies the dedicated people. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to the ISAE 2025 coordinator for her vision and relentless efforts, to the internal organizing committees, chairpersons, faculty members, students, and non-academic staff for their tireless commitment, and to our professional partners, TCOM Events and Galle Face Hotel for their seamless logistical support. Finally, I turn to our students, the future custodians of agriculture. Your active participation, especially in the Undergraduate Forum and GMIT initiatives, has been truly inspiring. Young energy, creativity, and vision embody new generation of thinkers and doers who will carry forward the mission of climate smart agriculture and sustainability. As it goes today's inaugural session, let us not only celebrate what has been achieved, but also commit ourselves to carry forward the knowledge, collaboration, and networks quality. The theme of ISAE 2025, driving innovations in agricultural technologies for climate action and sustainability, is not merely a topic of discussion, but a collective call to action. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my deepest gratitude to all of distinguished dignitaries, global partners, industry leaders, academics, researchers, alumni, sponsors, organizers, and students for your invaluable contribution to ISAE 2025. We look ahead to the technical session and scientific discussions of today. I wish all participants the very best. May this deliberation inspire innovations, strengthen collaboration, and generate solutions that extend far beyond these goals. On behalf of the organizing committee, I thank you once again for your presence and support. Let us carry this spirit of unity and innovation forward until we meet again at ISAE 2026. Thank you very much.